By popular request. Her name is Annie Brook, and the last time she was on here, she just blew us away with all kinds of ideas. And so today, she's going to continue doing that with a bit of a different topic. So we're going to be talking about how to repair and recover, here she is, the nervous system. Oh, tell me my phone is still doing its thing where I got to pull the cover off. Sorry about that. Let me pull that off and try it again. But anyway, Annie should be on here in a second. Again, we're going to be talking about how to repair and recover the nervous system. I was thinking we would just talk about obsessive thinking. I see the screen is spinning. I don't see her yet, but I know that she's here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good. Can you see? There you are.
I
Okay,
can
now
see
I see you.
you.
Good,
Okay,
good, good.
great.
Okay, so
Yay.
yeah, so Annie, before we even get into the big topic, I know it started with me, and I've certainly been guilty of this and still am. Obsessive thinking. What is obsessive thinking, and how common is it? Especially, our audience dealing with the
Oh
craziest
gosh, yeah.
divorces, co-parenting situations, living under constant threat.
Well, obsessive thinking is exactly that. It's an attempt to heal stress, and our brain loves to problem solve.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're under stress, and especially I would call it the emotional stress, the topic for your audience so often is that kind of constant, doesn't make sense kind of stress. And
Yes.
yeah, and that's where obsessive thinking will just rule the nervous system
Mm-hmm.
because it means that you have not figured out a way to solve the problem by running away or fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
I think a lot of it too is our brains tend to be logical, and we're dealing with someone who is not rational all the time.
that is crazy making. Yeah, because there's a normal way we relax and we don't obsess when things make sense.
Right.
When someone is happy and they smile, that makes sense. When someone is mad and they look mad, you go, oh, yeah, okay, you're mad. But when someone is giving you false faces or false messages, your eyes, it's just not coherent. And these mixed messages create confusion. Once we're confused, that's almost like, the game Shoots and Ladders,
Oh,
where
we
you
talk
go,
about it all the time with parenting plans.
yeah, yeah. And all of a sudden you're down into your primitive brainstem.
Mm-hmm.
And the primitive brainstem is really, it's got the logic of if I'm in danger, I'm going to run away or fight. Or if that's not going to work, I'm going to freeze and play dead.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is we want a motor to get out of it. And motor means movement, just like running your motor of your body. And then if we can't motor, we're going to freeze and go into that heavy, like playing dead place. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
talk about both of those in terms of obsessive thinking.
Good. Okay, but before you even start, let's not forget to let you introduce yourself
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
before we start
we
motoring.
Right. We have so much fun. We just jump right in.
Yes.
I'm Annie Brook. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado. I train therapists. I've been former director for the Body Psychotherapy Master's Program at Naropa University. I did that for years. I ran a clinic called Colorado Therapies, and we saw families, children. I have worked with gang youth. I have worked with troubled teens. I've worked with children who have been sexually abused, just the range of stresses. And my private practice is couples, families, and individuals who really want to change up what's happening. And so I am so grateful that I'm a somatic psychologist, meaning I know really a lot of the neuroscience and the kinesthetic movement that helps the brain recover.
Hmm.
And I'm just passionate. I grew up in a family of 5 kids. My mom was a social worker. She taught us all to get along. I just came back from a family reunion, which was so
Really?
much fun. Yeah, it was so great to see my brothers and sisters, nieces, nephews, and what else? I have 2 horses, and I am moving over to also including equine therapy as part of my offering.
Ooh,
But I'm learning a lot from my horses right now. So
yeah.
I
I've
love to
only interviewed
learn.
one person who talked about equine therapy, but it was fascinating. Annie, I always picture you in the pools,
Yeah, I
swimming in the
forgot to
pool.
mention that. Um, Years ago, I became interested in how does pre and perinatal, which is our earliest memories, that's our memories in our body before we can think. So that is the experiences that in utero, during the birth itself, right after birth, when you were learning about safety and connection, getting your needs met. I was lucky enough to work with David Sawyer for 5 years to co-teach with him. And David pioneered seeing how warm water therapy can really reconvene, repattern, repair the nervous system. Because in the pool, you can use movement, you can use gentleness, it's warm. So I do a lot of aquatic therapy and do trainings. I'll be teaching in Spain in early September and also in California in mid September. So if anyone
Yeah.
wants to come out for 4 days of, a deep dive, you are welcome to find me, join
Literally.
me. Literally a deep dive. Yeah. It's so much fun. And, that's why I love chatting with you because, been there, got out. It's like it's possible, right? It's
Yeah.
possible to have a good life. And that's what we want to help and continue to remind people.
Yeah. So now let's dive into dealing with the obsessive thinking and how do we even repair a nervous system that's been so worn down and continues to be worn down by dealing
Yeah.
with a very difficult situation and people.
So before we start with people wanting to answer, the first
Hmm.
thing I want to ask people to do is just to stretch a little bit, take a deep breath, look around, because otherwise we're trying to load information on top of stress.
Hmm.
So take a moment to breathe. It's as if you could use your hands even like you're holding a ball and it's breathing, or you're
I
holding a puppy.
remember this. We did this
Yeah.
before.
Or you could think you're holding a puppy's rib cage, or something. You just feel the breath. And our senses, our primary senses, smell, sight, sensation, help us to recover. So we want to have a little movement inside instead of overloading our brain.
Hmm.
Yeah, so get a little bit of movement and then just look around to notice where you are. And ideally, find something beautiful to look at, even if it's for a second. You could look at that painting, and there you've got a beautiful painting behind you, or
And
your
the sunflowers. Yeah.
sunflowers, right? Yeah. I love art because it brings us, into another perspective.
Yeah.
So, first, get your body organized, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. And then what with obsessive thinking, it's like a loop, right? And it's like you could call it self-stimulation.
Hmm.
It's like stimming us, and there's kids who need stimulation all the time because their nervous system doesn't know what to do. And so obsessive thinking is kind of could be considered that kind of, okay, at least I can motor
Hmm.
even though I can't figure out the problem. So the way I'm going to motor is I'm going to obsess,
Hmm.
and it becomes familiar. And so it's almost like then you're talking to this familiar loop, even though it's not healthy. For me, I used to have it when I had so much stress. My partner burned our house down and started drinking. And this was in my early 20s. And this was, I thought, we've built our house, we have our land, we have our animals, this is life. And I didn't know what somebody drinking really did. And
Yeah.
then he didn't mean to, but when I was away, he burned the house down.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he forgot to shut down the big stove, and it was dry spruce logs. We were living in rural, and we had no electricity or no, we had a well, a hand pump. So anyway, I went into real stress response. I could hardly hold a job. I could hardly hold a conversation because my brain was worried.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried, worried, worried. And what I noticed in that time, being like, oh gosh, this doesn't feel good. First, I noticed that. And then I noticed, wow, it feels like I'm going to become homeless. I
Mm-hmm.
can't function. And that's the part that is so scary when people feel like they're losing their functionality.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you want to do first is stabilize in a way through sensation in your brain. What
Mm-hmm.
I mean by that, your listeners have probably heard about, practice grounding, practice lowering your energy, imagining you had tree roots. Well, I was fortunate because I made my way to a meditation center and learned how to meditate in my mid 20s. And it wasn't the kind of meditation that said empty your brain, because there
Mm-hmm.
was no way. My brain
Yeah.
was so full.
I think people dealing with this stuff have a very hard time with the silent, empty
Yeah.
meditation. It's
No. So luckily, I learned a Sufi based. A Sufi is they're the heart with wings um, meditators. And I learned how to follow my attention, not make it stop.
mm-hmm.
So what you do is you give yourself something to do. Like imagine you can feel tree roots going down through your feet. So you're using that ability that makes pictures or thoughts and you're giving it something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now the key, and I have a practice on my Instagram called Blink Blink. You can
Oh, I
find
remember
it
you
up at
talked
the
about
top.
that. Yeah.
That's
And you
that's
first talk about
yeah.
it again.
Yeah, it's so useful to keep doing it because what you want to do is get right into your brain with healthy tools. So first, what is obsessive thinking? It's repetitive self-stimulation. It has movement in it. Thought is a movement, it's an energy form. And for some people, it has images. For some people, it just has sounds, like the same words over and over again, or the same images.
Mm-hmm.
And what you want to do first is imagine you're like a vertical axis and a horizontal axis right in your brain. So you want to find your vertical axis, and that's like how your spine, if your spine's all hunched over, you're not vertical. If you're off to one side, you're not vertical. So you
Hmm.
sit in a way so that you feel, oh, maybe like you have a string pulling you up,
Mm-hmm.
another string pulling you down, so that you can rest in between heaven and earth. So it's that place, oh, I exist. I'm in between heaven and earth. There's a place for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right, not just all the stress I'm under, but there's a place for me. And it's like coming home to yourself, that you have to come home to yourself in some manner and create the sanctity, the sanctuary of inner home. Now, one way to feel that in terms of stabilizing your brain is find that vertical axis. And then imagine from by your ear level that you're going, and I want people to try this. You have to sit in a way that you can feel inner sensation. So I want you to feel going too far to the left. Oh, now I'm off balance. Feel, go across back to the right. It takes a little while to feel sensation.
Now you're moving, Annie, as you're doing that, but you're saying inner. So I was almost thinking like it's between my ears,
That's
like
right. You
imagining
don't
almost
want
like a
to move.
marble going
Yeah.
back and
Uh-huh.
forth.
Yeah, you don't want to have to move your body.
Mm-hmm.
So go too far to the right, too far to the left, and then, oh, there's the middle. Oh, there it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think
And then,
about like a sink that has like a little
Well,
a little
kind of,
dip.
except it's more like a horizontal line.
Right,
So,
right. So horizontal, but in the middle.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And once you have that, then do the same thing, this time on the diagonal, out the back of your head and your
Mm-hmm.
forehead. So now you're on a diagonal line and you're going to go forward and back until oh, there's the middle.
Hmm.
It's like a little holy cross, it's like an intersection.
Yeah.
It literally is a part of the brain called the pineal gland that makes pictures. It's
Really?
the, yeah, it's the gland that, it helps us out in our dream time. It measures sleep and awake. And what you want to do is be in the center of your head instead of right behind this analytic worry forehead,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the part of the brain that's not going to help you let go of obsessive thinking.
So it's almost like what you're describing, it's a physical, you're not saying the word grounding, it's almost like a centering, but picturing something so it's right in the middle. So body is like this and this, and then also on a micro level and in your head, I keep thinking of like a marble.
Yeah, yeah,
You want to almost like that kid's game, where you try and get it in the middle.
right.
You have to get the marble to go like that. So you're visualizing something going back and forth, but you got to try to keep it, the
You want to
ball, or
keep,
whatever, in the
yeah, you want to
middle.
keep it in the pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep it in the pocket and then look around. Because literally my vision looked different when I could stay in the pocket. And when you talk about sixth chakra or the chakras, I
Uh-huh.
think that's the center of the head.
Mm-hmm.
Where in neuroscience, we talk about the chakras as locations of glands. And the pineal gland, sixth chakra, center of the head. So now that's the place where you have some sanctity. And if you add to that the ability to have some breathing room around you, like you have a hula hoop, imagine, okay, I've got my inner space.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm just going to have a little outer. You could have a sphere. I like to use the word hula hoop because it's so graphic. And
Mm-hmm.
you just have some breathing room. And then people are it's not that you don't connect with people, it's that you don't have to have be invaded by them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to back up inside your body or withdraw inside a cave.
So it's
It
like an invisible boundary that when you say hula hoop, it connects back to childhood. So it's not like, oh, I have this fence or this gate. It's like, oh, I have this game and it's a hula hoop and it's
I love
invisible, but
it.
it's there.
Yeah, it's like a nice game,
Yeah.
and kids are learning all the time to how to ride a bicycle, how to make, do a hula hoop.
Hmm.
So if you think of this as a game, you'll have more fun with it. And
Hmm.
this is the game of brain stability instead of rumination, obsessive thinking.
Yeah. And as you're describing it, it's like my brain is now forced to go into visual imagery, but it has a goal. It's not just a general think about this or that. It's like, okay, try to balance it. So it's a game and then thinking of the physical space
Yeah,
inside my head. Okay, now I got the marble thing in the middle, and now the hula hoop is here, and I can spread
yeah,
my arms out.
right. And that way, your body is more able to be in present time.
Hmm.
Obsessive thinking is not present time. And if you've got this game going, your brain is actually getting to do something instead of being thwarted in a situation that is hopeless.
And you have that agency. I mean, we all can imagine the horizontal. The horizontal and the vertical, and inside the brain and the hula hoop. So it's like your brain is forced to focus on these simple little things. And
Yeah,
it makes me think of tapping, where it's like you can't do two things at the same time. You can't play a game in your head where you're balancing, you're trying to get something in the middle and ruminate.
exactly. So that is one of the key factors. And then you practice walking around with this game. Like, oh, can I, go open the door and still be in my hula hoop? Or have I,
With your
have I,
marble in the middle.
yeah, or have I run away? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so once we've got our sort of physical space, we've
Mhm.
located ourselves physically, then you want to put on a little detective hat. You want to look at, well, is my rumination pictures? Is it words? Is it sounds? Is it what I would call a thought?
Mhm.
How do I ruminate? So you get to know the little ruminator.
Yeah.
Some, yeah. And so this is a little bit of a tangent, but some people could even talk to the ruminator. Like, hey, what do you need from me? Like if it was a friend trying to help you, it's like, it's not working. How can I help you? What do you need?
Mhm.
And maybe it would give you new input, like, oh, you need to like change something in your life, or, you need to get me safe, whatever it is. It might even have a voice that's not the rumination.
As this is a little bit different, but it's reminding me so much of one of our clients who was dealing, of course, with a very difficult ex, and they were ordered into a high conflict co-parenting class, which she was like, I don't want to do this. I've already done enough. I don't want to keep engaging with this person. As part of the process, they had to go on a phone call once a week. She said it was like a domestic violence victim's nightmare. But
Oh, uh-huh.
having to do that,
Yep.
it almost was a little bit of like exposure therapy, and she was able to step back, like what you're saying, with observing how something is done. And she said in her mind she made almost like a little bingo card, and I wonder if people here might think of
Brilliant.
it as like, how is this being done? So with her ex, she started noticing behaviors that kept appearing, those patterns, and then when it happened, she just observed it. Oh, now we're doing this particular thing now, and having that playful aspect of, oh, it's like a bingo game. I recognize this. It made everything so much better. She couldn't believe it because she really resisted it. And so elements of what you're saying remind me of that, where you're sort of stepping back and saying, how am I ruminating? How am I obsessively thinking? Is it in thoughts, words, like forcing yourself to examine those patterns kind of
Yeah,
detaches you from being in the
exactly.
middle and consumed by them.
That's it. You're not it's what I call, here's another tip. I call it staying on the surfboard.
Okay.
Being consumed by your thoughts is like falling into the ocean, and all of a sudden all the waves and the emotions, they're taking you down. But
Mm-hmm.
you just got to get on your surfboard and know that, oh, I have to go to court or I have to do this phone call thing. It's difficult, but you balance. You stay on the surfboard. You let the emotional swings that would normally, you would be seduced by them.
Mm-hmm.
You let them pass. And what she was doing by making a bingo card, what a great idea.
I know, in her brain, not even a physical one. A physical one would have been helpful too.
Yeah, but just, what she could do to stay present and not get hijacked.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so she was giving her brain something to do, but she was not being overwhelmed by the emotions and the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, once we get into our emotional level gets hooked in, then we can go into drama pull. And drama pull, it's like it's like an undertow.
Mm-hmm.
They say you can hardly get out from an undertow.
I love your analogies.
Oh,
I also
good.
love the beach.
Yay! So you've
Yeah.
been warned about undertows.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So get on that surfboard, stabilize your axis, really get yourself present, and then notice how you ruminate. And then goes back to my blink blink exercise. What you do is you, outside of your hula hoop, you put up a movie screen. Now, this is your
Okay.
imagination. Like you can see, I have a painting in the back, a screen.
Mm-hmm.
You put one in front of you, like a blank screen, and you put your rumination up there. You like, oh. There it is.
So
And
like
it,
again, observing, like moving it out of the brain. And I do a lot of journaling. And as you're talking, I'm thinking writing about it, sketching something, writing
mhm.
down how you ruminate or whatever, like gets it out of your head and it seems more organized.
Yes, you're making it coherent.
Mm-hmm.
And what you want to do, this is, I loved learning this and I was so grateful because it really helped my brain. It's the blink blink practice. And what it means is you put that out there. And if you were journaling, you would learn from it, like, oh, what is it teaching me? Or what is it showing me? Or maybe it's just what, where did I learn to be hurt? You could ask questions like, where did I first learn to be hurt? You might have that. You
Mm.
be what shows up on your movie. And then you might be dealing with the difficult ex, but you might see an image from your childhood.
That's a great question. I think I imagine like a workbook or, I used to teach, well, I teach now, obviously, but I used to teach high school and I would love coming in with a quote that would start.
Yeah,
Not that I would come into my teenagers with something like that, but here with
right
adults,
here,
where did you learn to be heard? How provocative.
right? And the brain will help you find the answer. It will, if you're in the center of your head, it may give you a sound, another thought, or an image, like looking at a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to get a little neuroscience geeky here for a minute. So I'm going to give you little pieces.
All right, good. This is what we love. I have so
Okay.
many notes already, Annie, as usual.
Okay, good. So in our what's called the limbic brain, it's right around the ear level. And think of it, our perceptions, our eyes, our hearing, our smell. These are what are our survival instincts. So the limbic brain has on each side something called the amygdala. It means little almond.
Mm-hmm.
This amygdala is awake in utero. It is functioning before you can walk, before you can talk, before you can even pick up a pen. This thing is awake. And its job is to keep you safe.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, it's scanning for danger. And then how we develop a playbook of safety is we survive different things that are difficult. And so we're creating a file cabinet inside our brain. So the amygdala has a little friend called the hippocampus, which all it does is associate experiences.
Hmm.
So maybe I got stuck in the birth canal, and now anytime I have pressure to meet a deadline, I freeze.
Hmm.
I don't know what to do, or I dissociate, or maybe I was rescued. So instead of having my own agency, if in the birth I was pulled out by forceps, or I was lifted out at C-section, I don't know how to cross the finish line. And so then I give up or I wait. Oh, someone's going to help me. But as adults, sometimes we have to help ourselves, and get the satisfaction of that accomplishment.
What you're
So,
Sorry, what you're saying is reminding me of some of the stuff I learned at this conference this weekend, and some panelists of experts were talking about with children. We these days rob them of their ability to fail.
yeah,
We don't let people fail, and we rob them of discomfort. So
that's
if they
so
can't
important.
learn to deal with failure and discomfort, how can they develop this kind of resilience? Like you said, things don't develop until you make it through something difficult. So if we're not allowing people to have difficulty, then how are they supposed to fully develop?
They can't, and then it shows up as what we call entitlement.
Mm,
Like these non-resilient, specialized people that have to be pampered. And a busy parent can't pamper a kid,
yeah.
especially if you've got three or four of them. You
Or
want
an
them to be
ex.
resilient. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can't do it. And you can't, you know, how do I say this? It's like for self-healing, which is what we're talking about. How do you put your rumination aside. How do you get rid of it? You have to meet the discomfort of it by putting on your detective hat and seeing how you do it. It's not comfortable to look at your own look in the mirror, right? It's like, oh, I would rather dissociate. I'd rather escape. I'd rather get dramatic. But we're saying, no, look in the mirror. How do you do it? Okay, now let's go clean out that file cabinet that has how you first got hurt, maybe by going passive.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you learn to go passive and you're doing that in your relationship in a way that's not helping. And
Wait,
so
sorry
that,
again to interrupt, but that's
no,
I was.
no,
But
this is
what you're
fun.
saying
It's a
also
dialogue.
reminds me of another thing that I heard this weekend. It was a quote. It was something like, "The treasure that you seek is often in the work that you're avoiding."
Yes, absolutely that. And we have a natural born avoidance in our nervous system, which is called dissociation.
Mm-hmm.
And there's kinds that are related to the movement aspect of ourselves, and there's kinds related to the passive aspect. And you can have both. I've identified 4 or 5 kinds of dissociation. So let's pause and talk about that for a moment because we don't want to have so many tangents, people get lost. So, what we're talking about is staying present for your self healing, being your own advocate in these times of difficulty, with the goal of not obsessing, not exhausting yourself through your obsessions. So, we have to go towards the difficult reality of obsessive thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And once you realize, okay, how am I doing it? It's painful. Then what you do is you put that thought out side of your hula hoop on your movie screen. You get the information and then you literally imagine it, you dynamite it. That's why I call it blink blink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It cannot be, oh, let it just fade away because I'm so nice. I don't want to hurt anything.
Uh-huh.
Nope. You got to dynamite it.
Explode.
Yep. You got to explode
Blow
it
it up. Okay.
because what you're doing is you're freeing a a contained thought form and turning it back into energy, free energy.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a picture that you see and you dynamite it, it's going to turn into colors. And that's freeing the energetic construct of the obsession. And then you just breathe in the colors that feel good to you and let the others go. So you're no longer stuck in a frame.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want to do is get out of that frame for
It's
new opportunity.
it's like you take the thing that's consuming you, you figure out a way to separate from it,
Yep,
and you and all mentally make it explode, and then you breathe it back in, so you're not even just pushing everything away, you're just changing the energy of it.
exactly. You're only breathing in, what's nourishing and valuable for you. You're not bringing back other people's energy that could be
Mm-hmm.
in that frame. And so literally what that does is for me when I was teaching at I went back and started teaching at this meditation school because it was so valuable. I stopped thinking at all. It was so fun. Everything, yeah, everything was just happening in my life in a flow state.
Uh-huh.
If I had a sort of a wish or an idea, all of a sudden, oh, there it would be happening.
Mm-hmm. So
You
no.
know, no working. And it was I later, when I stopped doing so much meditation teaching and so much time in that specific meditation, I started thinking again.
Mm-hmm.
It's normal. But I really was not for about 4 years.
Wow.
And that just meant my brain was so relaxed and so stable and so aware that I wasn't aware and focused.
Mm-hmm.
There's a primitive reflex called alarm, which means look out, and then orient. So, as a primitive reflex, it's a survival thing, alarm and orient. And
Hmm.
then we're stuck in the orienting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, you want to have that peripheral vision. You want to have that hula hoop breathing room. You want to dynamite the picture and get used to what it feels like to be, to just be. Oh, here I am. Here's the tree out my window. Okay. Here I am. Oh, here's my glass of water. Oh, okay. Because when you allow that, you are literally, it's like, I think of massaging your brain,
Hmm.
or holding a puppy, or you're literally, oh, I exist.
By the way, speaking of puppies, have you heard there's like these new things cropping up near us, puppy yoga?
No, I haven't heard of that.
I mean, I am a total dog person. They bring in puppies that need to be socialized, that have already been adopted, but they're not ready to go to the owners yet. And they
Uh-huh.
join, you've heard of probably goat yoga. We've had that for a little while, using
Yeah.
the mini goats. But now they have these puppies, and oh my gosh, you
Oh,
think about like the happiest anyone could ever be
right. Yeah.
playing with like hordes of puppies.
Right. And having those puppies and the
Uh,
smell. And, yeah. And so, in all of this, for people who have obsessive thinking, I just want to say there is a way out. And it really happens when you can slow yourself down. The nervous system, if it's so sped up in the speed of thought, it has to slow down to do practices.
mhm.
And eventually I got so good at this dynamiting, I could do it in a second. Like if I was driving my car and up ahead it looked like an almost accident, in the past I would have been afraid I'd get in an accident.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just, I just blow it up right that second and I don't even think about it.
yeah. So that took a lot of practice.
Yeah, yeah. It just takes repetition.
Okay, so Annie, knowing someone like me who I in the moment, like I think this is amazing, and then I think I'm going to forget if I'm on my own. What if somebody is saying, I want something like this, but I need to be taught. I need someone to instruct me to do it. I don't know if you do workshops or classes, but where someone can get that repetitive practice and it's not on them to set time
Yeah.
aside to do it.
I should do like a 30-day workshop.
You should.
I used to do 6-week classes
Mhm.
specifically in this. And now I do classes that are usually 10 weeks. And one is called Healing Complex Trauma. Another is called Relationship Ready. So it's
Mhm.
specifically on how do you stay firmly anchored in yourself in order to be with a partner.
Mhm.
And then I have another class on healing birth trauma, which means it's for adults. It's not for someone who just gave birth, though that can be helpful.
Uh-huh.
But it's for your habits that you've carried around for a lifetime
That's
and you don't know
fascinating.
why you do it. It's so
Mhm.
fascinating. I love
Yeah.
it. So people do, I'll be starting that again every September. I start that. um, People can come with me on a journey where we practice. We do actually individual sessions in a group setting.
Mhm.
So sometimes people will learn by watching other people and they get a healing because
Mhm.
it's all about holding a healing space and getting able to recognize it.
I think
So
it's
it's
so great also to have other people,
yeah.
like that community element of it.
Yeah, I think we learn so much by being with each other
Mhm.
in this. So I'm very love teaching online. So people can find me at anniebrook.com. And some people take my classes 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
They
well, I
just
can see
love,
the practice. It's like exercising.
yeah. Yeah.
So you need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
yes, you just said Annie Brook online. That's how people can find you.
it's anniebrook.com, and Brook
.com.
is spelled Brook.
Okay.
And then the top menu has a bunch of drop downs. There's a
Okay.
f- if someone likes to read, I have lots of free articles.
Good.
So
We
if
have
it's a,
lots of readers here.
oh good, I love that people still read.
I
Yay,
know. I know.
right? And then there's a drop down that has all the different classes. If someone's a therapist and wants training, they can talk to me, call me up, and we'll see if they want to join because then you learn all the topic skills, which means you as a therapist can help a lot of people. Adoption, play therapy, couples, families. It's really fun. And I'm passionate about having therapists who are not just compassionate and a good listener,
Hmm.
but actually know how to help someone go through discomfort
Hmm.
and learn skills and become aware in their own body self. So
Yeah.
that's my big passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you seem like a passionate person in general. I will say also that we've noticed that the highest percentage of clients we have are mental health professionals.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, come on over. I really want to get more and more people able to. It's taken me 45 years to put together what I do.
Hmm.
And I've had life that wasn't just given to me on a platter, I can tell you.
Hmm. Yeah.
And learning those things, there are tools, and we're
Yeah. Well, I
designed.
love, as usual, you've filled up my papers and the past 45 minutes with all kinds of tools and like actual things that people can do. I love all the visual thing. I can picture so much
Oh,
of what you're
good.
saying. So
Yeah.
super helpful.
Well, that maybe I guess we're kind of wrapping up. I would say for one thing I have people do who take my classes is start making art. And it's
Oh.
not to be an artist. You can scribble. One woman, she just had a notebook and she would scribble her
Uh-huh.
way through all of her stress. And then she'd put it on we have a community Facebook group,
Hmm.
and people show their art, and she would describe it and people would reflect, and it was so lovely. But
Yeah.
what art does is it uses a different part of the brain, and we want to use more than our logical brain,
Hmm.
especially to heal trauma. So if
Yep.
someone has obsessive thinking and they've used these practices, they can vary it by sometimes sitting down with a blank piece of paper and some crayons or pastels or whatever, and just letting their hands draw the obsession, whatever it is, and maybe they do 4 or 5 of those in a row.
You're
Because,
speaking my language because I do a lot of art. I've always done different kinds of art, and I started a tradition with friends. We're trying to do it once a month to have these art parties
oh,
where we bring
nice.
food, we come up, we each do our own project, so it's not like everybody has to do the same thing, and we just chat, do our art, and eat, and love it.
Oh, that's community.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's the best.
wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Well, Annie, thank you so much for coming back and giving us all these ideas. Obviously, we're going to keep directing people to you, but this is fantastic.
Oh, thanks so much. I always love chatting with you, so we'll just keep finding ways
Yeah,
to do it.
yeah, this won't be the last
Maybe
conversation.
maybe we'll talk specifically about dissociation next time. Who knows?
Yes, I'll write that down. That's going to be the
Okay.
next topic.
All right, sounds good.
All
Big
right,
hugs to you
same to
and to
you.
everybody who came on. Thank you for being here, and always wishing you the stability, the breath, and the heart for thriving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Annie.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
Bye.